Hello, Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I am your host, Dorinda, and together with my fellow Trekker from Canada, Amanda Hopper, I recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped in the chronically following. Today we recap the episode The Booby Trap. But first, a note of the host of this podcast. I would appreciate it if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends and family. And now for the plot of the episode. LaForge realizes that the only way to restore power is to reconfigure the warp drive, and traces the warp drive designs back to the Enterprise's construction and blueprints created by Dr. Leah Brahms. LaForge enters the ship's holodeck to help figure through the engine reconfiguration. The computer takes an off-the-cuff remarks by Geordi Littery and creates a holographic representation of Brom herself to assist him in his work. As Jody does so, he asks the computer to update the hologram with Dr. Brom's personality profile and slowly gains romantic feelings for her. Despite the hologram's help, LaForge is unable to find a way to safely maneuver the Enterprise away. And when Picard orders all extraneous power systems, including the holodeck, shut down to conserve power, LaForge convinced the captain to allow the holodeck to continue the run. After power is restored, the simulated Dr. Brown recognized the solution, which is to allow the computer to take control of the ship, allowing it to make rapid adjustments to compensate for the trap. LaForge then finds an alternative solution to the problem, which is to completely reduce the power output from the Enterprise and maneuver it out of the field by manual control with only 2 thrusters. Picard and LaForge decide that the computer cannot account for human intuition and elect to go with the manual approach. Picard takes the helm himself to carry out the operation, successfully moving the Enterprise from the trap. Once free and with power restored, the Enterprise destroyed the Pamelian craft to prevent others from falling into the trap. Alright guys, let's call Canada. Hello Amanda.
Hello from Canada.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's warm out today.
And
I went into Salisbury, like I told you.
yeah.
Got a Dairy Queen cake. They're very good cakes too.
And how was your birthday? I know your birthday was at the last time we spoke. So...
Tuesday. It was on the 15th. And my dad's birthday's coming up September 6th. He's going to be the big 7-0.
Did you do anything nice with your birthday?
Mom and Dad gave me $100, so I went on to Amazon and bought some more Diamond Dot kits. I'm sure there's fans of that out there that listen to the podcast. And my grandmother gave me $50, so I went and got 2 lobsters for $40. And they were very delicious. And I picked up an ice cream cake today. Those suckers are expensive from Dairy Queen. They're like almost $40 for a cake. It's like pure ice cream. And in the center they got like, it's hard to explain, like Oreo cookies in the center. It's all crushed up and yeah, that's what's in the center with some fudge. Oh, it is so good. Really good stuff.
Nice, nice, nice. So, I still have a little bit of news too. 2 things.
Okay.
Maybe you know it already, but I have started a Dutch track podcast because in the Netherlands we don't have that much platforms for Star Trek, so I was thinking, okay, I'm doing that.
Oh.
And I am looking into become a bit more professional, so maybe you have seen it or not, but I have changed the things a bit and to have more capacity for what we're doing as in a podcast. So yeah, that can be of course fun. And of course our first wedding ceremony is still going on in 2 months, and of course we have a Star Trek wedding.
Yes, I kind of vaguely remember that one now.
So
Now that you mentioned it, I vaguely remember that.
yeah, we have 2 ceremonies because the original spiritual ceremony we want is not legal here in England. So if we want to do everything legal, we need to go. We have to marry for the law. So that is what we're going to do first on Halloween.
Okay.
And then, of course, my partner is going to wear, I think, the dress uniform from Star Trek Nemesis, the white one, the white gold one.
Oh, I love that one.
And I, of course, have a steampunk version of Dr. Crusher.
Okay.
And even our little doggy is going to have a Star Trek uniform. So that's going to be fun.
That's going to be so cute on the pupper.
It just depends if we can take him with us or not in the ceremony. But that's just, we still need to have that talk with the officials.
Yeah, that's true.
But okay, that's going to be fun, and we're going to have that this weekend. So I'm prepared and all and that everything. So, let's start with the episode recap. And I must say, I liked this episode. It was really I'm glad for once that Geordi LaForce has a main role in this episode.
Yeah, it's like almost like a Geordi episode.
Yeah. So we also already start with Geordi right away, and we see that he and female are on a romantic date on the holodeck, and that went completely wrong because, of course, Geordi is a hopeless romanticus, and that's not going to work out for him like that.
Mm-hmm.
What was?
Yeah, it didn't turn out too good for him on the holodeck.
Yeah, but he was that in general with women. When he falls in love, he falls hard, and he wants to overdo it and everything has to be perfect.
Yeah, that's true. He tries to go over the top, and it just doesn't work for him, I guess.
Yeah, and then we see Wesley and Data in 10 forward playing Vulcan chess. And so when Wesley saw Geordi, his immediate response was, uh-oh. And Data was asking why, and why are you saying uh-oh? So Wesley explained, and then also Data said, oh. What was quite funny, because that would be, again, a human reaction.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. He's like, uh-oh.
And you really could see that Geordi was bummed out that his date didn't go as he wanted to.
Mm.
Although no, and that was
Yeah,
I think that was also the quote of LeVar Burton when he came back as Geordi LaForce in Star Trek Picard season 3. I think he mentioned it to the writers. I hope that Geordi LaForce in all those years had got laid, and that he isn't the hopeless romanticus that he used to be as a young man, and that he had a family and a wife. And of course in season 3 we see of Picard we see that he has 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And what was beautiful in that, his real life daughter played also his daughter in season Picard season 3, and she wore the same outfit, the yellow outfit, as her dad as an engineer.
Yeah. I think her name is Misha.
Yeah. It was really, I think that was really, I remember a little interview with both of them, and you could see that LeVar was really becoming emotional, because as a father that would be very, very, I think honorable, and also that's what he had thought that she would do. So that
follow after her dad.
Yeah, but also like following his footsteps in Star Trek, and who knows what because the fans are screaming for Star Trek Legacy with 7 of 9 as captain, and of course we have Jack Crusher, or in this time also Jack Picard, of course, on there, and we saw that Q came back to torment Jack. So who knows what everything else can be done with that series. So they have been called to the bridge, and the Enterprise got this distress call, and it was something unusual, and they went to investigate. And it was a Promyllian battlecruiser, and the engine was still intact, and that was the beacon for a distress call. But this ship was over 1,000 years old, and that was maybe one of the funny parts. I think this is one of the few episodes we see that Picard was very passionate about something, and also quite emotional.
Yeah, he wanted to go over there himself to investigate.
Yes, but also like I think because one of his hobbies was archaeology, and he loved old stuff like that. So he was very, very, very determined to go on there and lead the own away team.
Oh yeah, he wanted to do it.
Yeah, and Riker was debating him in every way, sense of the way he could. And then
because Riker didn't want him to get hurt, basically.
Yeah, but that is Riker. Riker has always been that way, and I was talking about that with other friend Trekkie of mine, and I was saying, I think at that time that the first officer is going on an away team, I think that was because of Wolf 359. When they had this war and the captains were very important. So, in that scene also, Picard was talking about the ship in the bottle. And Riker didn't know what it was. And then there was this lovely funny scene in the transport room.
Yeah.
And once again, Picard talked about the ship in the bottle.
Ship in a bottle.
A war, and you know, Picard was very surprised in a way because they didn't know it, except for O'Brien. And when Picard asked them, guys, I'm talking about the ship in the bottle. You know, the little models in the bottle. And Worf answered, I don't play with toys.
Yeah.
What was funny?
There's a blooper to go with that. I found it on YouTube. And he's like, instead of saying, I don't play with toys, the blooper goes out with him, I think it was Worf saying it. He's like, I don't play with boys. And he caught himself just before he said it. But everybody knew what he was going to say.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
He's like, and everybody starts laughing at him.
And then Picard looked at Data, and Data answered, well, I have never been a boy. It reminds me right away of Pinocchio.
Yeah, because Pinocchio was basically a puppet. He really wasn't a boy. He was like a puppet.
Didn't Riker called him in the first episode also Pinocchio? I thought he did.
Yeah. Definitely called him that in the first episode.
So the first, when they wanted to beam over to that ship, the power in the transporter room was dropped. And that was really weird. And then they beamed over to that ship. And Picard, but also Worf were very nostalgic in a way. And yeah, how can I say this? More like, I don't want to say, it was like more like enthusiastic about the whole 1,000-year-old ship. But then we go back to 10 forward and we see Geordi sitting at the bar, looking very sad. And Guinan went up to him and started talking to him what happened, etc. And Geordi asked her advice. And then there was that moment that Geordi asked, what do you like in a man? And Guinan told him, well, I like bold men. And right away, I saw Picard in front of me. She and Picard always had this special connection.
I think of the word. Yeah, that's it. They had a special connection with each other.
Yeah, and there was this episode that they went back in time, and this is one of the few.
Yeah, that one.
That was one of the few times that they did travel shenanigans. And they met Moriarty, not the Moriarty that we know from that, not from the hologram, but more of in the what time was that? Wasn't that somewhere in the what time is that? That's not the that's the Victorian time. I think that's about the 20th or the 30th. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I'm confused. But I know the one where they go back in time, that was a 2-parter episode.
Yeah, that is one of the few time travel episodes I did like. Normally with time
I love
travel,
that. Love that episode.
Yeah, me too. We still have to watch that. So, but we're getting on. We're getting on. Hold on. Let me check something. Cause if I'm correct, I think that is next. And that is just what I'm thinking now, guys. I think that is next month in September. Yes, the 1st of September, guys. And now I need to look when this episode is coming. This episode is coming next. Sorry, guys. Normally, I'm a bit more prepared in a way. When is going to air? This is going to be airing. Oh, the 29th of August.
Huh.
Is that correct? Yes. The next episode, when the next episode is airing, not this one, but the next one, which is called The Enemy.
Oh, that's the Romulan one.
Yeah. So, and now I'm totally lost. But when this episode aired, guys, the 29th of August, on the 1st of September, Ghost Talking Track has his anniversary of 2 years. So we are doing the...
What?
Yep. It's already 2 years.
2 years? Wow.
Yes, 2 years.
Huh.
And I just want to say we only get started.
Yeah.
And I think we still have a lot to talk about.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, we do. 2 years. Holy moly.
Yeah. I think we can be proud of ourselves that we still, and we consistently bringing every 2 weeks an episode out. So I think we can have pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah, if I can reach my back, which I can hardly do.
And, well, so we are at Guinan and Jordy still. And Jordy asking her, Guinan, what am I doing wrong? I liked her very much, but I'm so getting nervous or whatever around that special lady. And Guinan smiled and told him, you are trying too hard. And when she said that, you could see that Jordy was smiling as well and said, yeah, maybe I do, you know. And then we are back on the bridge. And Wesley get this word fluctuation of that the main power is acting weird, and Wesley is getting a bit of panicking. And that is not how we know Wesley, to be honest.
Yeah, usually he's all on to it
Mm,
and not getting so panicky. But I guess something is causing him to get real panicky.
mm.
Hmm.
So we are hopping over again to the other ship, and it was Data who managed to get the main power working again. But they didn't know that would affect the Enterprise.
Uh-huh.
And when they were on the ship for the first time and just looking a bit around, the first thing I was thinking, why the hell are there still skeleton or dead people on where it was? It's about 1,000 years ago.
Huh. It should have been, crumbly and evaporated after 1,000 years. Like, usually nothing left.
No, exactly. And it reminded me of something, I think it was from a movie in the 90s, that there was that also like the bodies, but when you touch them, they will vaporized in dust. Talking about dust, had you seen how dusty that damn ship was?
Oh
my god!
That's my nightmare right there. Dust.
And then they didn't have cobwebs. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but they hadn't. But did you see how much dust there was? Or maybe they wanted to show the viewer that it's been 1,000 years ago.
Mm. Yeah, that's probably what they wanted to do. And dust. Oh, I hate dust. It makes me sneeze crazy.
So, then they find the old signal that has recorded the last message of the captain. And I don't know, but what do you think about that alien? I think it was a bit weird in the way of it was more human than you would think.
Mm.
And I don't want to say that they look like Vulcans or Romulans, but it was more like, yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then the awaiting turn returns, and everyone see the excitement in Picard. And we see the scene between Troy and Riker that they were smiling at each other. And then Picard saw their look to each other and they chuckled. Both chuckled. What was, I think typically something for them. So Picard looked at them and said, what's wrong? And Troy, by the way, this was the first time she wears that blue outfit, the blue dress.
Oh, yeah.
I
love that dress.
Yeah, I like that dress too. So, Diana said to Picard, well, Captain, this is one of the few times we see another side of you. What? It is true, of course. And, I think that's what I love about episodes more in the future. You see more an emotional and passionate Picard. What makes, I think, what are we seeing in the new track like Strange New World and Discovery, the captains are more emotional
Happier?
and more.
More happier type?
I don't want to say happier, but it is more like you used to think as a captain, and especially nowadays still, if you have a captain of a ship or captain of a company, they have to be they have to
Stern?
be they have to be stern, they have to be hard, they have to be showing no feelings. And
Okay, yeah.
I think,
Kind of like Data.
yeah, in a way. But I mean, like, also, like, if you, for example, see the elite of the lead in the military, you see them blocking all the emotion off. And that is what you see here in Picard as well. And I remember in one of the earliest interview with Patrick Stewart that he wasn't happy the first 2 seasons of TNG, and I remember that one of the writers came up to him and said, "Please, Patrick, stay with us. Hold on. In season 3, we are going to do more background stories and more character-related stories." And and I remember because he wasn't happy, and he said, "Okay, guys, something has to be changed because I'm about to leave."
Oh.
And they couldn't have that. Yeah. And they couldn't have that, of course. And the other thing is that, and that was true, and in one way I can understand, because in the first and the second season, you're a bit looking for and what the series has to establish and what the characters are and storyline, etc. And if you talk about, for example, you still have that nowadays, although I must say Star Trek Strange New World is super. I really loved it. So, and then the alarm sounded for high radiation level. And at that point, the energy was dropping a lot more, and Wesley couldn't get the helm respawned, so they were trapped. And Picard was asking himself, are we now in the same trap as the Polarium ship? And that was the case. So the senior staff came back into the reading room, and they were looking and discussing what had to be done. So Picard said, okay, the away team will try to find out what happened to the ship, and Geordi, you need to find a way to keep the ship running, no matter what you do. Geordi went to engineering, and he was thinking of every possibility, and then he came at the point that he could ask the computer, okay, who is the designer, and blah 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 blah. So what did he do? He got this holo program started to simulate what could be wrong, and there will be for the first time he meets Dr. Leah Braun.
Yeah, that's it. Leah.
And she was the one who was have designed the engineering and what happened after everything. So, the funny part of this episode as well is that once again, Jodie has fallen fast for someone, and it wasn't even a real person.
No, he fell for the hologram.
And, that reminded me right away of Harry Kim. You remember that episode with Harry Kim, and it's called Fairhaven. And Tom Paris...
Vaguely remember that.
Tom Paris made this whole program that everyone loved of the Voyager. Like in an Irish town.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that one.
And in that episode, we see also Harry Kim falling for a hologram. And it is Tom who always teases him with that. And he even, Tom the bastard, changed the hologram girl in a cow right at the moment that Harry Kim would kiss the girl. So, in fact, he kissed the cow.
Yeah, right on the snoot.
So, the radiation is rising and rising, and Dr. Crusher talked about that to Captain Picard, and she wants precaution because you know what happened, and she said, well, it's gonna be very, very difficult when the shields have fallen. We only have 30 minutes to when it becomes dangerous. And so Picard says, okay, go ahead. And what I was thinking, no, let me talk about that later at the moment itself. We are back in the holodeck with Geordi and Dr. Braun. And they trying very hard to find a solution. And the funny part is, it was also this moment that Geordi told the computer to get more personality in the holo Leah Braun. What was in one way funny, because he was falling for her right away. You could see that. When Geordi went for the first time to the holodeck for this program and just find a solution with the designer herself, he could see the first time that the Galactic class, and in this time it's the Enterprise, for the first time. And he was totally smitten with that. What was, of course, very nice to see, because, and I'm going to jump, guys, it reminds me at the point that in the last episode of Star Trek Picard Season 3, when Geordi brought the Enterprise D back out.
Oh, yeah.
And
everybody fell in love with I'm sure when we were watching it, everyone was like, oh my god, yes, it's the D. It's the Enterprise D.
Well, for me, it was the first time that I watched it, it was overwhelming. The second time that I watched it, I was thinking, oh, thank God we have Geordi LaForge.
Yes.
And the third time that I saw it, I was crying and saying, yes, finally an ode to the Enterprise D. And as you maybe know, and also the listeners, the Enterprise D always has a special place in my heart, because that's the first starship I always met. And I start staying hooked on Star Trek because the separation of the saucer and the battle bridge.
Yeah. And at one point they let Deanna drive and she crashed it.
Yes! But this time she didn't.
No. But she was kind of driving.
What was a bit funny, but okay. So Data is still trying to covering data of the captain's log of the other ship. And, I think... And that was the thing also. When they had the solution to leave the computer to it, I was thinking, why don't you put Data into it? Because he is fast. He is also a computer. Why not?
Yeah. He's got the memory. He's he's basically a high-speed computer himself.
Yeah, he is. So, that's what I was thinking too. But okay, that wasn't the case this time. Although he needed to be there to talk about certain points like who they were, etc., etc. So we're coming back to the holodeck, and we see that Geordi and Brom debating. There was this moment that they figured out, okay, the computer is the one who has to get us out of here, and it would be Leah Brom holo program that will do it. And I had really questions about that, because how can you do that, And yes, a computer is faster than a human being, but and that's why the understanding of Riker was there as well. He was scared that the computer couldn't do something on feeling, and so they didn't want to do that really with the computer, And I think also after that debate between Geordi and Brom, I think Geordi was falling for her for real.
Oh yeah, he was. Because I think in a future episode we actually meet the girl, the real one.
Yeah, and she was mad at him in that episode.
Oh yeah, she's not impressed with what he did.
Yeah, and in one way it's funny because it's typical error that LaForge will make. It's about women again. But that's okay.
Oh yeah.
But okay. Geordi needed to come to the bridge, tell Picard this and that. And they come to the conclusion that they had to find the weapons to see the reaction, but also, well, there was a danger in that because the booby track could take that as a build-up for energy. So when they fired the weapons, it would absorb them to get the energy. And I have said this before in the episode. I think this is one of the few times that we see Picard really passionate about something. And, well, the thing that they were afraid of happened. The Enterprise had limited power and energy to do stuff. So this was very, dangerous.
Oh yeah, it was getting dangerous.
And Picard of Geordi asked, Captain, please divert all the power to the holodeck because I need to finish this for a solution. So, much later, we see Geordie and Brom back in the holodeck, of course. And Geordie is really flirting with her. And I was thinking, dude, you need to find a solution, not flirting with the designer.
Hologram. Yeah, flirting with the hologram. Supposed to be working.
So, Picard comes into the holodeck to ask Geordie if he had already found a solution. And, but, yeah, Geordie said, well, Captain, I do have a solution, but it is a risk. So he told what they need to do. And then we see Picard in his office. And in the dark, because all the power has diverted to the holodeck. And he had to make that decision, am I going to do this by hand? Or am I going to trust the computer?
Oh.
And at that moment, Riker came in and he talked with Picard about it, and he said, well, sir, I don't know if we can trust the computer. And then, did you notice, by the way, this time Riker didn't do the Riker maneuver, like the leg over.
Where he lifts his leg over the chair.
Yeah, he didn't do that this time. That was weird.
Yeah. Maybe he was having a sore leg day that day.
And I can remember this little interview of the Ready Room with what is hosted by Will Wheaton, who played Wesley Crusher. He had Jonathan Frakes and the one who played Boimer on the couch because he interviewed them for the crossover of Strange New World and Lower Decks. What was really a funny and great episode. I was really skeptic that they want to do this a crossover, and I have really think, how can that work? But it was super good. I really liked it. And so they talked about the Riker maneuver, and the Boimer said, well, I wasn't present of Jonathan Frakes, of Riker. He was behind the cameras, but I wanted to do the Riker maneuver because, first of all, I couldn't. Second of all, it's just fun. I want to do something because I admire Jonathan Frakes, also as Riker. And then Will Wheaton said, yeah, I wanted to be like Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes is a bit of the father I never had. And he said, I always wanted to be like Jonathan Frakes. And so I wanted to make that Wesley was looking up to Riker. So that's why Wesley, 9 of the 10 times when he was off duty, he did the Riker maneuver. And then again, there was that fatal alarm of radiation levels that is skyrocketing, of course. And then we see that Geordie has simulation after simulation. They have found a path between the asteroids and the ship to get out of that booby trap. And this was the first time, and I was in one way a bit shocked again, but of course it's also something a captain would do. Picard said, okay Wesley, I will leave you off your duty, I will take the helm. What was weird in one way, because we never see Picard taking the helm. Although we see in future episodes that he is quite a good pilot.
Oh yeah, he is. Because I think there was one episode where almost everyone was passed out or something, and it was just him and Data, and I think he flew the ship.
Oh, I can't remember that one. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I can't remember which episode that was. But there was multiple episodes where it was just like two people on the ship while everyone else was like either knocked out or turned into some weird animal.
Yeah, but I mean also, we really don't have the background of Picard yet.
Mm.
And this is the first time he flew. And, you know, it's just like, of course, in one way you can know that because, of course, you have to grow to the ranks to become a captain, an officer.
Mm-hmm.
So you at least know how the helm is working or everything else position on your ship. But it was still a bit weird to me because I never saw Picard as a helmsman or as somebody who enjoyed flying, and you could see that he really was enjoying it. Even you remember Picard season 1 finale when he went with the La Serena to encounter the Romulans? He flew also then. And
oh yeah, yes, he did.
And then he said, and that was what I really loved about that moment. Juliati was saying, but Picard, can you really fly? And he said, well, that was one of the most nice things of being an ensign or cadet. And you have you still have to need to be experienced with it. So I was always taking the helm and let me see if I observe Rios, and then he flew.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really nice to see. So at the end, we see that Picard is moving the ship out of the danger zone, and then he took the gravitation of the asteroid to sling them around out of the danger zone. What was brilliant, but also that I was thinking, whoa, he can fly.
Yeah. He's got some moves on him.
Yeah, and right away you could, I can't remember if it was Data or if it was Wesley that would say, whoa, sir, you use the asteroid gravity to sling us around. And you see the amusement on Picard's face.
Yeah, like I think he was having a little fun himself doing that.
Oh, he had, and also like, you saw that smile on Wesley's face, and you can see at that moment Wesley had a newfound respect for Picard because he just simply did that.
Yeah.
So, and this is what I wanted to say. When they were at the moment that Picard moved them out of that danger zone, the trap, we see Beverly Crusher on the bridge. What the hell is she doing on the bridge? Isn't she supposed to be caring for the patient?
That's true. What
And
was she doing on the bridge?
She was very nervous.
Yeah. Hmm.
So Picard gives Riker the order to destroy the ship and the booby trap. What was a pity, because he would have loved to get that back to the Fleet Museum and for in a museum, because it's already a 1,000-year-old ship.
Well, yeah. But still, it could have had a booby trap still on it.
Yeah, that's why too. And then going back to the holodeck, and we see that more or less Geordi has to say goodbye to Leah Brahms. And again, he was a bit flirty, but it was also a bit sadness that he had to leave her. And finally, he got his kiss.
Ooh, yeah. Even if it was just a hologram.
Even she was only a hologram, yeah. And I think in that other episode, when Leah Brom went to the holodeck, and she saw Leah Brom Holo as that he was kissing Geordi, then when she was very, very angry with him.
Oh, yeah, she was pissed. She's like, why would you do this?
So, yeah, once again, he had to talk him out of it and use all his charms. What doesn't... Well, in the end, it did work, but he didn't get the girl. But this was also the last scene of this episode, guys. I must say, I really liked this episode. It was, for once, not a totally story or 2 or 3 separate storylines. What was nice. So, Amanda, do you have something to add?
No, I can't really think of anything I can add. No, I really can't think of anything.
Yeah, it was a nice and clean episode.
Yeah.
So, guys, if I'm taking a look at the rating on IMDb, and that is a 7.4.
Well, that's not too bad, I guess.
No, what do you rate it?
How about even 7.5?
All right. I will go...
Give it around that.
Yeah, I will go a bit higher and I will give it an 8.
Okay.
Just because it's totally better than some of the other episodes we already have seen and recapped.
Yeah. I decided to go 7.5.
So, guys, this was it for now, and I hope you guys liked it, what we're talking about. Give us some feedback. There's also, like I said, I changed a bit of the things in the podcast because I am trying to become a bit more professional, so that is that. And the next episode, called The Enemy.
Oh yeah, the Geordi and the Romulan, if I'm correct, they get stuck on a planet together.
Oh, that one, yeah. And
I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
And in the end, they became friends.
Yeah.
It reminds me also, if that is the episode, it reminds me also at the same episode as in from Enterprise, that Trip was crushed down the planet and he found that other species, but they didn't talk. They talking Trip's language and they had to be talking with hands and feet, and then at the end, it was a lizard form, that alien.
Oh.
And at the end, they became friends.
Huh.
So, but okay, guys, thank you for listening, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, see you in 2 weeks.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Prosper. Excuse me. Woo.
Thank you for listening, guys, and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. And in the next episode, we will recap the episode The Enemy. I also like to tell you about my other podcasts called Orenda Talks and the Nederlandse Ready Room podcast. Orenda Talks is a podcast wherein I talk about books, movies and series, video games, fandoms, and all the geek things. In this podcast, I talk regularly about Star Trek. You can find Orenda Talks on the YouTube channel or the Facebook group. The Nederlandse Ready Room podcast is a podcast for all the Dutch Trekkies to talk about everything in Star Trek. Of course, this will be spoken in my native language, Dutch, and is an all-video podcast. The Nederlandse Ready Room podcast is only to see and listen on the YouTube channel and Facebook group. We will see you in 2 weeks.